There comes a time in every man's life when he realizes that the greatest battle he'll ever face isn't with the world, it's with himself. It's not the war fought with swords, or fists, or even words. It's the silent, invisible war that happens every single day inside the mind. The battle between discipline and desire, between comfort and purpose, between who you are and who you're meant to be. Most men never even see this war. They wake, they work, they scroll, they sleep, believing the enemy is outside. But the truth is, the real enemy lives within. The anger that explodes when things don't go your way. The fear that whispers, you can't. The doubt that says, maybe tomorrow. That's where the war begins, in the small choices that shape your soul. The Stoic understands this. He doesn't waste his strength trying to control the world. He focuses on the only thing that's truly his mind. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. It's not just a quote. It's the foundation of freedom. Because once you realize that no one can make you angry, no one can make you afraid, and no one can make you doubt yourself, unless you let them, that's when the war begins to turn. And so, the Stoic walks through the noise of the world with calm in his eyes. He's not detached. He's disciplined. He's not cold. He's in control. He's not emotionless. He's emotionally free. Every man must face this truth eventually. If you can't master your emotions will master you. And until you win that war, you'll always be a slave to chaos. That is the beginning of the battle within. Every warrior needs to know his enemy, and in the battle within, that enemy is the mind left unchecked. The undisciplined mind will lie to you. It will tell you to take the easy road. It will convince you that comfort is happiness. It will whisper that rest is peace, even when it's just avoidance in disguise. The Stoic knows this voice well. He's heard it in the dark, when no one's watching, when quitting seems easier than continuing. But he also knows that voice is not truth. It's temptation, because the human mind is a master of excuses. It will justify weakness, defend laziness, and glorify comfort. It's a trickster, always trying to protect you from short-term pain, at the cost of long-term strength. And so, the Stoic fights, not against others, but against that inner voice. He replaces excuses with execution. He replaces reaction with reflection. He replaces fear with focus. That is why the Stoic life looks simple, but it's the hardest path of all. It's the path of awareness. It's the refusal to lie to yourself. It's the strength to sit in discomfort and say, I will not run. Because when you stop running from your inner battles, you begin to win them. The Stoic doesn't seek to silence the voice. He seeks to understand it, to see where it comes from, what it fears, what it hides. He studies his anger until it turns into patience. He watches his fear until it dissolves into courage. He examines his doubt until it transforms into determination. In mastering the enemy within, he masters life itself, because once the mind obeys you, the world follows. No man becomes strong by accident. Discipline is the fire that forges greatness. But discipline is not about punishment, it's about purpose. It's waking up early not because you have to, but because you choose to. It's doing what's right, not what's easy. It's keeping promises to yourself even when no one will ever know. The Stoic knows that motivation fades, and burns bright and dies quickly, but discipline endures. It's not driven by emotion, it's driven by identity. Every time you do what must be done, whether you feel like it or not, you're casting a vote for the man you wish to become, and over time, those votes add up. They build character, they build confidence, they build control. Most men look for shortcuts. The Stoic looks for consistency. He understands that every repetition, every small victory, every moment of persistence shapes the unbreakable mind. He doesn't chase pleasure, he chases purpose. He doesn't run from pain, he uses it as fuel. Because pain, in the hands of the disciplined, becomes progress. And that's what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Anyone can act when they feel good, but only the disciplined act when they don't. The Stoic's greatest weapon isn't strength or talent, it's self-command, because the man who commands himself can command any situation. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. The Stoic doesn't curse pain, he studies it, because he knows that pain is the most honest teacher life ever gives. Every failure reveals what still needs work. Every heartbreak shows where attachment still controls you. Every rejection strips away ego until only truth remains. Most men hide from pain. They numb it, ignore it, run from it, but in doing so, they also run from growth. The Stoic does the opposite. He sits with pain until it speaks. He listens, learns, transforms. He knows that pain doesn't destroy character. It reveals it. The fire that melts wax hardens. Clay, pain doesn't change you. It reveals who you truly are in every loss. There's a lesson. In every scar, there's a story. And in every heartbreak, there's a hidden strength waiting to be awakened. That's the paradox of pain. It burns the weak, but it builds the wise. In a world addicted to noise, stillness is rebellion. Everyone wants to react. Few learn to reflect. The Stoic stands apart. When chaos rises, he grows calm. When others rush, he waits. When the crowd panics, he breathes. Stillness isn't doing nothing. It's doing what matters most, observing before acting. Because the calm mind sees clearly what the chaotic mind cannot. Stillness gives birth to wisdom. It turns emotion into insight. It transforms confusion into clarity. The Stoic practices silence not to escape the world, but to understand it, because in silence, truth speaks. Acceptance is not surrender. It's strength in disguise. The Stoic accepts what he cannot control, not because he's weak, but because he's wise. He doesn't waste his life fighting the unchangeable. He adapts, he adjusts, he moves forward. Acceptance is clarity, knowing the difference between what is yours to change and what must simply be faced. And that clarity becomes power. The man who accepts reality doesn't live in frustration, he lives in focus. He saves his strength for what actually matters, and that is how peace is found, not through control, but through surrender to truth. The Stoic's mind is his fortress, unshakable, silent, focused. He trains it like a warrior sharpens his blade. Through reflection, awareness, and repetition, every day. He doesn't let thoughts control him. He commands them. He doesn't let emotions dictate him. He directs them. He doesn't seek approval. He lives in alignment. This is the highest form of mastery, self-mastery. Because the man who rules his mind fears nothing. The Stoic doesn't need to prove himself. He doesn't need validation, comparison, or applause. He simply lives according to his principles, and that alone is peace. There is no crown, no trophy, no applause at the end of this battle. There's only peace, the quiet knowing that you have conquered yourself, that you didn't quit when it got dark, that you didn't react when it got hard, that you faced the storm and stood still. That is the real victory. The victory within every man wants to rule the world. But the Stoic knows the world means nothing if you can't rule your own mind. So remember this. The greatest enemy you'll ever face is not out there. It's in here. And the greatest victory you'll ever win is mastery over yourself. That's the battle within. That's the path to power. That's how you become unbreakable.